Alright. How's my mic sounding? Let's see. How's everybody doing? Anybody out there? I'm just finalizing one thing. I'm going to put on a record. Hello. PG. Pat Hazik. Alright, Pat, there you are. I'm going to put on some music. How's it going, folks? Yes, reissue time. 1 second. Okay, so how's my mic sounding? All right. I'm playing a record by the Yamasuki Singers. I'm going to sell this. This is a unofficial reissue of... I'm going to talk about it in a second. It's pretty strange and interesting jazz, funk, children's. Probably getting a little bit out there. Anyway, I'm going to sell this later. It's an unofficial reissue. I don't think it's ever been officially reissued. It's a French record. But yeah, hey, Jonas. Yes, let's discuss. I don't think you'll be buying anything today. Randall, what's going on? Yeah, did I? So I really liked, I haven't even had a chance to comment on Jonas. If you all don't know Vinyl Stockholm, you should. Great channel. I haven't really, I've been watching VC this week, but it's been an incredibly busy week here. We've had like the hottest weather week I can even remember in my lifetime. And it's still pretty humid today, but had a lot going on. My band had a show last night, so I've been a little bit out of touch with what's been sparked with this reissue talk, but yeah, it's, reissues for over the years for me have always been a necessary evil, and I've enjoyed buying them, and yeah, they sound good, and I bought tons of them. But every year I've bought less and less. I've always also collected originals since the days of me starting. So I was doing both. And but every year more and more I just found that I was getting more joy and more sort of... It was making my life, or it was making my collecting more fun to find the originals, even though they got harder and harder to get and pricier to get. You know, pandemic, everything exploded upwards. So, but it always just made my sort of, it just scratched that itch, as you all understand, I'm sure, for those that also like to collect them. But every year was less and less reissues, and I was keeping them around, and really I liked having it from a library perspective, because I was doing a radio show every week, which I'm currently not. So it was great to have like a library and be able to tap into things. And yeah, playing it on radio kind of doesn't matter whether it's a reissue or not. So yeah, it was great to have a library perspective. But I was getting burnt out with the reissue market. It's intense, as you all know. There's always something new every week. It's hard to keep up with. And I've always just the original document always sort of brought me the most joy. That's, made it feel like it was worth doing this. That brought on a burden, which is that, as you realize these things are getting more valuable, it becomes a burden now to maintain, and you now have an investment in, a serious valuable collection. And so I'm coming to terms with that. I'm just about done in getting the whole thing insured, and I realized I just would rather continue to put this investment into the original thing. So I still have plenty of reissues, whether it's African, Jamaican, There's a bunch of punk-related reissues. I just don't think I'm going to be buying them from here on out. And some will probably stay. We'll see. I don't know that I'm going to completely get rid of them all. It's going to be interesting to see. There probably will be another run, although to what I'm going to go through today is all the stuff that's been available. It's just an opportunity for you to get it pretty cheap. But I'm also running out of room. So this is going to help me focus. Ultimately buy less records, perhaps at a higher premium, but ultimately buy less and focus the collection in a little more. So that's kind of where I'm all coming from. I know it for some people it's stupid, it's about the music, which it absolutely is for me. I mean, I've been collecting records since the 90s, CDs too, of course, but as a kid, taping things off the radio, I mean, I didn't care, I just wanted the songs, you know. So it's certainly about the music. I don't like this idea that like, oh, you're more about the valuable, the collectible. I just think it's foolish to not think of what you're doing here when you're collecting records. Even reissues, which get collectible, you're amassing a valuable thing if you're gonna really go to those levels. So I think it's silly to just say these are just media. This is just media with music on it. Hello, Paul. Hello, Alan. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But so I do see this as, I love music. I collect music, but I also see this as an investment. So I'm really sort of putting my eggs in that basket, and that's where I'm coming from. Obviously, this is what I'm doing. Jonas's manifesto. It was so entertaining just to see what he's thinking about in terms of his collecting. That's what he wants to do. So to each their own. That's the bottom line to life, right? To each their own. You do your thing. Anyway. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be an opportunity to get a lot of the records I've shown. There's a few in here. Reggae, Alex, is a bunch of... There's a whole section of things I haven't totally... I'm not sure what to do about the reggae, because that's going to be so hard to replace, and there's so many great... That'll be tough. Obviously, the condition. Same with my Jamaican. That's one where I'm, like, a little bit hesitant. Yeah, today I've had a huge... there's a bunch going on today, too, but the family's out of the house right now, so we got to get to it. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, I think I've talked about this before, Paul, you remember. I almost have my entire collection. Well, it's all archived, but I have some more cleaning up to do and just finalizing the policy. It'll be done this summer. Sean, I need to get back to you. Thanks for showing up, man. Brandon, good to see you. Yeah, absolutely. For me, too, I work at a store, so I have access to reissues pretty easily. It's cool to see what they get, what local collectors bring in. So, yeah, we're listening to L'Amant Fabuleux de Yamasuki. The interesting that this is a 1971 French LP, although it looks like it would be Japanese. I mean, maybe. But it's actually done by two pop producers, one of them being the father of Thomas Bangalter. Bangalter, right, of Daft Punk, Daniel Vanguard. So he's behind this production, and it's basically they're using all kids as a chorus to accent this sort of like jazz funk thing. I don't have it too loud in the background, but you should be able to hear it okay. So I got a pretty decent amount of people on the stream here. I'll start it. I'd like this to be pretty quick, so you can get on with your day. I know Rumwald has a stream at 1, and I'm sure you all just have stuff going on. Sort of. There's some definitely folky stuff in here. I'm a little hot. It's still hot here. Holy cow. I'm sure DC is not feeling really great today either. Let's start with this record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start... This one I'm going to start... they're all going to be at $10, and... some of them may be a little higher. This one will start at 20 because it's you can't get this, I don't believe. But mainly they'll be at 10. So I'm going to get that in a second. If anyone wants to moderate with me, send me a private message. You know, if you want to join me, certainly not necessary. That can always help. But it's always nice to have a counterpart. But I'm going to sort of... basically what we'll do, I'm going to start it at the price... We'll bid it up, and essentially I'm going to give it a 30-second timer on my phone. I'll tell you when it's 30 seconds. And whoever has the highest price, I'm going to put sold right beneath that, and that'll be the buyer, and we'll move on. Oh, Sean, if you'd like to join me, man, yeah, send me a private chat. I'll send you the link. That'd be cool. So I have a fair amount here. We'll go through as many as we can. I'd like to keep this to around 2 hours. Yeah. Hey, Alex. The reissues are the new releases are are killer when it comes to margins. It certainly kills you. Yeah, like Angry Mom, like most stores, they make like $7 or $8 on a reissue. Let's see, Sean. 1 second, folks. I got so many emails. I'm like, where are we? Which one did it go to? There we go. So yeah, we're listening to the Yamasuki Singers once again. And I'm going to start this one first here in a second. You can hear my birds going on. I got the windows open. Hey, Mark. I do have a few in here that I didn't have in the list from the past week. And, yeah, there's probably going to be, we'll see, down the road maybe another pile. I'm going through it one at a time. So Sean is going to join me. Cole's Train. If you guys don't know Sean, he's a incredibly knowledgeable, great band he's in, and good dude. Yeah, I kind of just went through this a little bit. We'll talk more about it. Hey, Sean.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man? You hear me okay? I can hear you pretty good. Oops.
Yep.
Oop. Sorry, there you are. So, yeah, it'd be nice to have your input. I know you'll probably know a bunch of this stuff. I'm going to run through these sort of quick. And, yeah, your thoughts are always welcome. And how are you doing today, anyway?
It's hot. I mean, that's,
DC, baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of just, it is what it is,
Yeah.
I was saying Bill Nace the other night, though, at a furniture store. And it was like, it wasn't that bad in the furniture store. But Bill Nace was awesome.
Oh, sweet.
He was great. And Susan Elkhorn opened up for him.
Yes.
She was great, too. It was great.
Furniture store. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it was literally a furniture store. There were no prices on the furniture, so it was expensive stuff. But no, it was a cool show.
Yeah, so we had a show here last night. My band played. Our AC was on. It didn't matter. Many shirts were changed. It was a good show. Great band. 1800 and Froze to Death had their release show. I'll have to show that record in a minute. They just had their release show last night. Great sort of post-hardcore band out of this area. But, hey, well, I don't hate reissue. I mean, I just am feeling like I want to start heading in the more of a pure direction in that way. I've always been collecting originals. It's just I've also been bringing reissues. I need to focus more on that, and it just feels good. It feels right to me, I know, Sean, you like to buy a mix, right?
Yeah, I don't discriminate. I get exactly where you're coming from. I think it's, to me, it's supplementing stuff, right? There's just OGs that are just way out of my price range that sometimes I just even refuse to pay just because it's like an exorbitant amount that I could afford. But there are, so like behind me, I have the Void Faith reissue that I bought about a month ago. And that's, for me, OGs are like, if I had to save records in a fire, what would I, you know what I mean? And like, so I love that Void
Cube
Faith record, and I got it for a really good price. I'm never going to find it again, and it was like, buy it now or never find it again, or find it for a bajillion more dollars. So, yeah. But I supplement. I'm not, but I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. Especially the focus part, right? That's
is big.
That's where I'm kind of lacking sometimes, is the focus part. So I totally understand what you're doing.
I find myself just getting lost and like trying to keep up with things coming out, and not even talking about new records, new bands, new music. So it's a focus thing. I think if you bring up a good point, like, oh, you're now saying, okay, like, well, I'll show, whatever it is, a record I'm getting rid of for $20-$25 I could have, or I'd be killing myself to try to get something that's a 3 or 4 figure record, Now I won't have either thing, so I think I'm okay with the idea that I won't have it, and that maybe if I want to listen to it and stream it, I can. If I want to get the reissue back sometime down the road, I should be able to get the reissue back. So I'm just kind of like, I'm okay with the fact that it won't be here.
What is your take though on like stuff that's never been reissued on vinyl, but like the Black Edition stuff where they're doing all the PSF? You know, there's a lot of that PSF stuff. Most of it has never been reissued on vinyl.
Well, to me, that's the first vinyl pressing,
right?
So that's a different thing to me, and I know a lot of people would agree with that. There's a few, or if I can think of one record in here that only ever came out as an acetate, and so what I have here is technically the first commercial release. Now you could say that isn't that really the original, but because it's something from like 2005, and you know, I wouldn't. In that case, maybe I wouldn't consider that. But there's lots of archival records, like the Cold Sun record is a good example. That the Texas Psych thing, never really, that was an acetate. And then when it came out in the 90s on Rockadelic as sort of an archival release, which is now an expensive record. So that's really the original, but it's kind of a gray area.
Right.
All right. Yeah, Sean, hey, first vinyl pressing. Yeah, agree to that. So I'm going to start it. I mean, you know, let's just try this out. We're getting into a discussion, but now we're going to go into a bit of a sale mode, and we can talk in between and see where we get. So, yeah, again, I'm going to put a price up. Anyone who wants to bid, go for it. Just, you know, write in your price there, and I'm going to put sold at the end of it, and then whoever is the buyer most recently to put a number in, it's yours. So,
do you want me to keep track in the chat who's purchased what, Dom?
If I'm going to keep track of it here. If maybe you can just double check
in the private chat we got here.
Sure.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Well, yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries.
So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start the bidding at 20. This is the Yamasuki Singers, as I said. This is an unofficial pressing, so you can't buy this technically online right now. I don't think. I didn't go too deep into this, but it's a 1971 record from two French producers. It's basically an exploitation record, you know, in a way. But it's all children's chorus essentially doing this. I just played the first side of it. For those that are who care, Daft Punk, Thomas Bangalter, his father was one of the producers on this. So it is a French record, but it's, you know, sort of positioned like, you know, it's a Japanese exploitation record in a way. But who like children's records, like this should be for you. So I'll start the bidding 20. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's a little silly, but it's really fun. I would like a original pressing of this down the road.
How did you get that? Did you just hear about it online, or
this one? I at the radio station I was at, and still sort of helping out at. We had some CD of it, and so it was in the library there, and I found it that way. And then at some point, this came out again as a repressing of some sort. So, yeah, this is on a label called The Great Thunder. Sounds legit. So yeah, 1971 French pressing. Anyone wants it for 20? I'm going to start the clock now. Let's just get moving. So I'm going to start a 30-second clock. I'm going to keep this sort of DIY. And let's do it. One moment. Yeah, if we don't have interest, that's okay. We'll move on. I'll put it on eBay. So 30 seconds. Anyone want it for $20? Now's your shot. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I guess many don't know it. Any of my French friends out there know this one, chime in. But now, yeah, this one I hadn't had up in my little reissue thing I did this past week. So this one's not been previously available. Anyone wants it for 20? Now's your shot. And then maybe we'll get into some. I have some Psych and things right here in front of me. All right. All right, that's that. All right, I'm going to pull that record out and get to another one. One moment. All right. You can always email me after if it's still available. All right, I'm going to take, let's take a Krautrock. This is the reissue of the MTD SAT.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. It says on the folk side, but it definitely gets into some sort of, big rock sort of moments as well. This is originally on the Pills label. Very collectible. So this one will start at $10. This is from 72, and this reissue's a couple years back now. Oh yeah, they did reproduce the Great Pills label, which is always nice. Yeah, this one, it's got vocals, so it's a little more of a rock record, I'd say, but with a folk aspect to it as well. So let's start this one at 10 beans. Chime in. MTD SAT. This is, like I said, this is a reissue from, I guess it's the Cargo label, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's some kind of conglomerate of labels, but it is an official pressing, an official reissue anyway. So, bid with confidence, or buy with confidence, I should say. So you say you do know this one, Sean?
Yeah, I've a buddy of mine has that reissue. And we were probably whenever it came out, we were listening to it at his place. It sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, does it say? I don't remember. Is it pulled from the master tapes, or is it?
I don't think.
The source.
Good question. Probably not. I mean, it is official. It's probably a digital transfer of some sorts. Let's see. Actually, no. It is in German here. If anyone knows German, it's not translated, but it looks like it's saying pulled from the analog tapes from 2020. If we can read it, there. It sure appears that it's saying that anyway. Yeah. All right, I got a bid from Paul. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I probably did. And this is an example of one I might replace. We'll see. It's not like a top 10 or top tier. I mean, it is. No, I quite like it. I'm downplaying it a bit. It's not like at my super high level krautrock, but I really like it. So if I saw it for the right price, that kind of thing. This is very possible to get as an OG, Jason. I mean, possible is a relative word, right? All right, 30-second countdown. So far, Paul has got this for $10. I don't know what it's going for on the second-hand market. I don't think much, but it's definitely more than $10, I'd say. I love the Pills label. Is just beautiful. That's one thing I love. Label designs really intrigue me and get my juices going.
By the way, Dom, just to remind everybody, once they bid, should they do you have your email address in the?
So Paul's got it for 10. Oh right, here's my banner. The banner I thought was scrolling. It's not. So there you go. So yeah, and obviously, if you want to stick around and buy, other things come up that you might want to buy, Paul or whoever, by all means. Let's do another one. It is a cool record. Oh, sorry, Alan. I didn't write. All right, I didn't do what I said. I said I would write sold after. I will do that from now on. But the timer went off, so it is Paul's for 10. So let me write that. I will write sold at the end to denotate who got it. All right. So you mentioned some primitive stuff, Sean.
Yeah.
I got one. This is an incredibly valuable original, which I will not go for because it's way too much for what this is. I like it, but to me, it's just not. It's not worth the 4 figures or whatever it is. Yes. This is John Villamonte. A little more of I would say,
yeah, I know that record.
Less of the Fahey primitive thing, but certainly in that realm. It's more on the singer-songwriter side, but yeah, this is Sean was a fan of the Sebastian Speaks label, which redid the Ted Lucas record, which is a masterpiece to me, and I know Sean as well. They did this reissue.
Yep.
So that's who did this one. I don't think it's been repressed since. I don't think this might be in the $20, $25 range, the reissue anyway. It's a reproduction of a private label. It's a nice album. Like I said, it's not one of the ones I would be going crazy to buy for some crazy, stupid price or anything. So I'll start this one again at $10 in a second. Going through the comments here. Christoph. All right, so $10 starting now while we discuss. And again, I will write sold at the end after the last bid. So this is from 1973. God, I don't think he's done really much else. It's just, in that private press time, it's probably in the asset archives, actually. I'm sure it is.
And $10 is actually a good starting price. It starts at 20 on Discogs for that reissue.
Thank you, Sean. So bargain. I'm totally ready to give these away, or not get, but let them go for way undervalued. I have them all in my Discogs inventory ready to be sold, but I got to pay a fee on that and all that stuff. So I'm happy to sort of let it go to you folks, you fine folks out there. So I'm going to start the timer now with 30 seconds. And again, I will put sold at the end when it goes off. You'll hear the bell here, I suppose. But John Vante, People Like You, folk, singer-songwriter, a little bit of the American primitive style. From 1973, Sebastian Speaks reissue. Nice cover. Come one, come all. Looks like there's going to be another bargain here for somebody.
Actually, I even take that back. It's even more for that reissue on Discogs. It starts at about close to $30.
All right, no one took it. Maybe we'll come back. Let's keep moving. I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but here's one that's a little bit somewhat not related, but somewhat sounds similar or in the same universe. Tony Viscoli, Information. This is the debut of the songwriter from the Les Sauterelles, the Belgian sort of garage group. But this is something completely different. If you like the, let's see, who do I want to equate this to? This is a Gerson reissue. It's like folk-esque, but he gets big on this. He goes to some like serious production levels. Reproduction of the poster. I think it's like a CBS Sweden. Not Sweden. It's a European original, but he's Belgian. Even though Tony Viscoli, I believe, is Belgian. If I have that right. Hold on, my record's stuck in the gatefold. I hate that. Gatefold. Sometimes you get the records that get jammed. Anyway, Gerson, you know these labels. There we go. Jonas knows the John Villamante. There'll be time later for more. We're just going to try to blow through some. Here's the insert. I showed you the poster. I haven't listened to this one in a while, but I know I love it. This is one I will hopefully replace. So we'll start this at $10. You can look it up. Tony Viscoli, Information. He sounds like he'd be Italian. 2013 reissue. So this is pretty old. So let's go. $10 on that. Nice gatefold. You familiar with Les Sauterelles?
I'm not. This one's new to me.
I'll give you some quick information while we're discussing on Tony Viscoli. Let's see. Okay, he is Swiss, not Belgian. And Les Sauterelles were Swiss. It was a CBS original. Actually, it was originally a German pressing. So this is the first and only reissue of this. It's categorized, if you want to know. It's like I said, it's certainly in the acid folk or whatever. Folk, soft rock, psychedelic rock. I don't know about soft rock. I love when things are coined that. But so yeah, if anyone wants to take a chance at this, at $10, now's your shot. Let's start it. Tony Viscoli, Information, again, originally from 1971, 2013 reissue on Gerson. Gerson's become like one of the top reissue labels for this kind of thing, or anything psychedelic related, or anything, acid archives related even. So, here we go. I don't know, maybe people just don't know this one. Now's your shot. Take it for 10. There's Ugly Things. Mike Stacks did a whole write-up about this. Certainly a legend in collecting and sort of a writer as well. Not sort of a writer, definite writer. All right, 30-second countdown. $10 for Tony Viscoli. Let's move these things along to somebody.
So when you're going to get some of these originals, Dom, what is kind of your process? I mean, are you just kind of scoping out Discogs and using sort of other resources you've got, or?
Yeah, it's been everything, a little bit of everything. Just checking prices as much as possible. Okay, Alan takes it for 10. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, I like to use the eBay search filter, the word searches. And, I'm never in a rush. I certainly don't overpay for anything, but I just wait until the price is right and try to talk to the buyer or the sellers and just try to get the best deal I can on it. Ideally, I'd like to try to build up a bunch of revenue or credit from selling things like this, but this time I went the other way around. I built up a pretty good bill to pay with PayPal, and so now I'm just sort of working that off. But no, I mean, there's never a rush. I never feel like any pressure to buy anything in the moment, because I got plenty of things to listen to, as you can understand.
Yeah.
So it's there's not really an urgency to it unless you see it come through for the price. You just have to move on and go for it. But I'm certainly not going to be paying top dollar for anything. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Is that similar to your approach?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things where I will pay top dollar if I know I'll just never see it again. Mm-hmm. Like when I was in Japan 15 years ago, there were certain things where I was like, this is it. It's this or, and there are certain things that now have quadrupled in price. And when I was buying records in Japan, that was 15 years ago. I was like, I'm going to spend $70 on this record. And now I'm like, I'm glad I did. But my approach is more like when I'm buying originals, the price, not so much. It's just if I know I'm never going to see that again. Yeah. It just at any, you know what I mean? Like it has to be a reasonable price, but it's more like, will I ever see this again?
Yeah. I think there's always all these different factors that come into play,
Sure.
When depending on what the record, where you are, if you're in Japan, like how often are you going to be back there?
Right.
So yeah, all these things are factors, and obviously the money's got to be there in some way or respect. So
yeah.
Let's continue on. I'm going to do the fall record, a nice reissue of a later period fall record, which I think this is my sleeve's a little tight. This one is like a theater. It was supposed to be like a theater production for a play or something like that. I Am Curious Orange from 1988. This is like I said, considered one of the better, or not better, but one of the more well-loved records by the Fall, according to what I remember. This is a reissue from a good 5 years ago now. 30th anniversary, 11th album, as you saw, orange vinyl. It's still in the shrink for those who care. Hype sticker.
So, Dom, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not even that I don't like the Fall, it's that I never knew where to begin. So I'm showing my true colors here.
Yeah.
Where would you begin with the Fall? And I've known the Fall for 30 years of my life, and I just never knew where to begin.
No, for me personally, I mean, everyone would probably say this a different thing, but I would say something like Slates, or a lot of people would say Hex Induction Hour, which I do have a copy of, a reissue of that I'm going to sell. The Fall, there's all these different eras because he moved the band around so much. Dragnet is another one I would start with. I think those early punky ones, the more sort of in the punk era, are the way to start to me. Grotesque is probably my favorite. So I would say Grotesque or Dragnet. Now others might say This Nation Saving Grace, which is I wouldn't call it their most radio friendly, but it has the most sort of commercial aspects. There's so many in the 90s that I couldn't even tell you. I'm familiar with some, but as far as those being like good places to start, I don't know. So I'd say Dragnet or Grotesque, honestly. But this one's, like I said, on the upper echelon of Fall fans records. I Am Curious Orange. Some comments here I'm missing. Yeah, I did not sell the Ted Lucas reissue. I was talking about the John Villamonte, which is in the same reissue label. The Ted Lucas reissue I'm not selling yet. I do want that original. Yeah, I know it. Well, I mean, Japan seems like you can still do really well there if you get out there.
Yeah, I mean, the yen is so weak right now. It's like, if you can make it out there, you can do pretty well.
Yep. Live at the Witch Trials, I have that. Yeah, Fall's a good example of a band. I have only 2 or 3 originals and like another 8 to 10 reissues. I'm sort of making my way through a few of those, so. Nice, Alan. Yeah. So let's start this at $10. You know, with the way I like this discussion we're having in between records. Obviously, we'll make this process a little slower, but let's just go with how it goes. It's good to have you as a co-host here, Sean.
I would say, Dom, it's like the fall was like, people have asked me about where to begin with Jandek, you know, because I have a lot of people like, I don't even know where to begin with Jandek, you know.
I think you just pick one. I really do.
Yeah, maybe that's
That's what I would say. I actually sold the Jandek reissue I had, but yeah, for him, I think you just kind of throw one out there. If you see one, try it. So $10, the fall. Ooh. Yeah, Jeff, I know you've been to Japan a bunch, right? What else can I tell you about this record? I can read you the little hype here real quick. Album was written as a soundtrack to an avant-garde ballet produced by Michael Clark Company, performed in London with the Fall playing live. So there you go. It's a live sort of performance along the ballet. Little orange wax edition. This is a Beggar's Banquet reissue. $10. Let's start that little timer of mine. I can do another fall record if people are interested. Like I said, I have that Nation Saving Grace. And then I got jazz. Yeah. If anyone wants to throw something out there in the comments if you want me to go in a certain direction. All right, 10 seconds on the fall for 10. Someone can take it for a bargain.
Dom, are you able to put on any of these records while you do the auction? I would love to hear that fall record, actually. The way you described it might be up my alley.
I'll put it on. I have, like, turntables right over in that other room there, which is right next to me, so I'll do that real quick. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. There it is. Put that aside. Let's try. I'll sell these. We'll just do these one after the other. These are pretty cheap. This is some Native North American reissues on from Light in the Attic from a few years back. We'll start these each at $8. Willie Thrasher. Morley Loon. I'm keeping the Native North America box set, which is an incredible selection of music. 4 different records on that. So these are the nice, I guess it's modern classics technically, or Future Days, one of their little other imprints. These you've probably seen these, $8 each. So let's just say 16 for the pair to start that. Let's just do it that way. Start that. Both of these are straight reissues of original private press Native American records. Everything, by the way, condition-wise, I haven't really said. Everything's nice, well cared for, near mint, you might say, for sure. Yeah, Sean's a good person to ask about that.
Yeah, I mean, let me know kind of what you're, when you say weird Japanese. No Wave, I can give you some recommendations. Weird Japanese, you'd have to be a little more specific on when you say weird Japanese. That's,
that could be a lot of things, and in different eras too. So these are both up for 16 for the pair. Let's just do it. These are the proper albums, the artists that were featured on the Native North America release, which I have here, but. Nice record. Spirit Child and Northland, Myland, Morley Loon, and Spirit Child.
Is that a reissue series that's like still kind of ongoing? I'm not too familiar with it.
Good question. I think these are about 5 years old. I don't know that they've. This is from 2015. Originally from 1981. this reissue. Yeah, so these reissues are 8-9 years old. I don't know that they're continuing it right now. Maybe they just don't have the resources or the the right recordings or whatever it is. So take them for the pair, $16. All right, we're gonna move on. Paper there. Let's see. Here's another. Let's go to. Here's a somewhat in the primitive folk record. This is Christopher Adillis by Gimmer Nicholson. Gimmer Nicholson is the artist. Now this one, again, one I'd love to track down. Also from the early 80s, or no, 1969, I think it is. But the weird thing about it is it came out, I gotta double check this. I think it was recorded in 69, not released until 81, but it was on the Peabody label, which is most notable to me as being the label that issued the amazing Alex Chilton record Like Flies on Sherbert.
And by the way, Dom, you're exactly right. It was 81.
It is, okay. But when I look at the copyright on here, it says 1969 Terry Manning, who's another character. But I think this was recorded at Ardent. The hype says it here. Yeah, laid down in a series of intimate recording sessions at Ardent Studios, and originally intended to be the first full-length LP on Ardent. Christopher Idils is a evocative and unusual chiming guitars, recalling the music of centuries past, while also, when recorded in 1968, being quite desperately ahead of its time. So, without getting further into the story, I don't know why it took 12 years to come out. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure it's out there, but we won't get into it right here. But it is certainly in that Americana primitive American style. I don't know if many people have seen this. This is Light in the Attic from 2015. And again, it's originally on the Peabody label. Beautiful album. I love this album. This is one I hope to get again. So
yeah, it looks attainable, Dom.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
$10. Nice reissue of it. The full story is in here, but again, it's a Ardent record from 1969. The recording is 1981 released.
Looks like we got a bid for
Mark. Nice.
Yep. That's a good price because on Discogs it starts at 15.
Okay. Very good. Happy to do it. Yeah, and I've looked him up previously. Very little else that he's done. Gimmer Nicholson, that is. I don't think really anything else. Yeah, the Discogs page at least just has this. Only reissued once. And the original cover is a little different. So $10. Let's start my old timer, 30-second timer.
We got another bid for 15.
Alan in Canada. Yeah, it comes with the original. How do you feel about these new Obies, Sean?
You know, a buddy of mine was doing a reissue label of like we want to talk about weird Japanese stuff. And he actually went against the grain and was like, I'm not doing Obies. That's what collectors want, but it's just not for me. I could go either way. Like when I'm buying originals, if it doesn't have the Obi and it's a good price, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Alan takes that one. Gimmer. I don't really care either. I mean, it's nice that they're there, but it's in terms of the Japanese thing. Did you say you like trying to find them if you can? Like,
I mean,
like
here's
originals?
the thing. Like, if I can find it and it doesn't, skyrocket the price for, just for the because that's the thing. Like, if you go on Discogs, you'll be like, oh, the Obi increases the price sometimes by like $100.
Exponentially.
It's pretty wild. You know what I mean? Like, it ranges the gamut, but if I can find it with an Obi, cool.
Isn't it true that like the Japanese themselves like or don't get it? Like they're kind of like, we don't care about the Obies.
No, it's totally true. And I mean, Obi like loosely translates as like basically like sash or belt, and it's really just a way to when you're flipping through records just to see the information.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Especially if it's licensed from the U.S., it makes it super easy. But it's. I don't look down on people that really love those things. For me, it is what it is.
If that's what you're into when it comes to collecting, that's what you're into. That's what we've been talking about in a way.
Yeah.
Always looking for Yamashita, Few, early punk, Osaka stuff. I love Few.
Fuse, yeah. Fuse
and Sally.
There's that Inu record that just got reissued. So if you're looking for like early punk stuff, a bunch of stuff like the Stalin has been getting reissues, and they're good reissues. Like Alchemy just did a Stalin reissue. It's the Stalin and Hydro Kaiden together, and it's pretty phenomenal. And it's a good reissue. It's kind of pricey, but it's a Japanese import, so it's like $40. If you shop on Soundome, you can kind of get it for that.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you have the free shipping, like membership, makes it even cheaper.
Good old Soundome. I like Alex's comment here. Obies are greater than shrink. What about an Obi and the shrink? What do you do there?
That's rough. I know
what he would do. I know what he would do.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we can do. Let's try this. I'm really just jumping around. Here's another obscure. I've never heard anyone talk about this one. This is a nice French record. It talks about it being acid folk. I don't agree. It's a little more straight, but it is a French folk record from '72. Dominique Drouin, Wave On. This is
how do you spell that last name?
Drouin, Droin. Yeah, this is on the Sommer.
Yeah.
Which is a Gerson imprint. One of the many Gerson imprints. Obies vs. Hype Stickers. Don't really care too much about either of them. I think I'd go with a Hype Sticker. I mean, depending on what it looks like. The new Hype Stickers are obnoxious.
I've done Hype Stickers in the past for records I've released.
Yeah.
We did one record by this band Room Runner. He would always kind of get compared with like Carp or Nirvana, and so as a joke on the Hype Sticker, it was like, new record by Room Runner from Baltimore. Yes, we've heard of Nirvana. That was kind of like the inside joke, One
of my favorite Hype Stickers is the Arthur Russell reissue of World of Echo. It just says unintelligible. I don't know if I have it on my copy still, but that's it. Which is just, I mean, if that doesn't get your attention in some way, I mean, you're not paying attention, I guess. But anyway, this is another one of those dang Obies. This is a numbered Obi, 315 edition. Wow, I like that they really included every single copy. 1972 French folk record. It talks about it being acid folk, but my recollection listening to this, it may be in feel, but not like in sort of effect. A homemade recording, fragile, melancholic vibe with a strong UK folk influence, aka John Renberg, Donovan, Bert Jansch, or Nick Drake. So certainly a lot to like there.
That sounds interesting to me. Maybe eyeing that up and nobody bits on it.
Yeah. If you look at the original's Crazy, and there's only one reissue of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful songs in English with acoustic guitars, flute, cello, and even full electric backing on the monster 8-minute psychedelic title track. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. There's that one track where he really goes for it. I'm sort of selling it back to myself in a way right now. But, yeah. We'll see. I don't know if this reissue is even in print or at least gettable.
I mean, it starts pretty much at it's you can only get it in Europe. I think there's only one seller it's all in Europe. If you want it, you go on Discogs. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to do everything at $10. We're going to do it.
Actually, I'm sorry. There's two sellers in U.S. on Discogs, but it's pricey. So I'm sure you're going to get a good deal if you're bidding on it.
Yeah. Everything's, like I said, play it a few times, ask about condition if you want, but unless I say otherwise, just figure it's like as close to new as possible. So we'll start at 10. And yeah, Christopher, I'll ship to Sweden if you'd like. I found a new shipping option that's a little bit cheaper, so we could do that. There goes. Yeah, Alex is pure with his shrink. Useless. Dominique Drouin, Wave On. I believe he was like, there's a story about this that he was, at the time, he went to dinner or something. There's a whole story about him like having dinner with a bunch of people who he was talking about him being a musician, and they heard of him, and I don't know where I'm going with this story. I'm remembering the liner notes as I read them or something. But obviously this is somebody who made this like out of like one thing, a moment in time, and then just went away. But interesting that it's a French record in English, sort of maybe more in the UK style. So $10. Yeah, that is a great sticker. I've seen that. Antonio's checking in with 10. This reissue, just to tell you, is from 2 years ago, originally from 1972. Dominique Drouin.
The original there's none on Discogs for the original.
Yeah, I know. I've looked for it. This may be one I might not be able to replace. So 30-second counter is starting now. Still listening to The Fall, by the way. I Am Curious Orange. So, anyone else? $10 is the deal.
Yeah, it starts at like 30 on Discogs from a U.S. seller. So
this is crazy that I'm just giving this away for 10, but there we go, Alan. Still a good deal.
Yeah, 15 is an absolute steal.
All right, Alan. Thank you, Alan. All right. What else should I do here? Let's see. Let's jump around again. We'll do a little Brazilian. Yeah. Let's do something everyone will know. I have this Os Mutantes. I'm in the process of replacing. I have 2 originals, I think, now. And these are findable. I'm waiting till the WFMU Record Fair. There's a lot of Brazilian records there, usually. So I think I'll see it there. This is the 3rd album, I believe it is. Isus Cometas. Os Mutantes. This is a Scorpio. Everyone will recognize that sticker from the Scorpio days. This has actually got the old price tag. You can see almost $14.99 I paid. This was at a shop I worked for. Different Permanent Records. You can see it in Brooklyn. There was a Permanent Records unrelated to the Permanent Records we know now. I worked at that store briefly. Anyway, this is yeah. These are Scorpio. They're what would you say? They're not really official. They're gray, I suppose.
It's a gray area.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be contact with certain people in the band, but like actual pure licensing is,
sketchy or
like jumping through, not going through lawyers.
Yeah. I think at the time, you're talking 15, 20 years ago. It's just people weren't really, no one cared in a way. Like, it's just kind of like,
yeah.
The artist,
it's
whatever.
how, like, a lot of those Ronaldo, like, Les Denudes records,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, now they're actually doing official, quote-unquote, reissues of those records. But, nobody was trying to get a hold of Mizutani. You couldn't. I mean, it also was just impossible. But nobody even tried.
That's awesome. Nice job. But it's like, there's some American label pressing records for like 500 copies, whatever. Let them have their fun. Anyway, this is original Scorpio. Original! But the Scorpios, I think most people will tell you, all typically sound pretty good.
Yeah,
you can't
they
go
do.
too wrong. And back in the day, getting something for $15, sometimes $11.99. I mean, those are the old days. Anyway, started at 10. It's probably.
Have you had any good scores at WFMU fairs?
Yeah, I mean, not anymore. Or like when I had gone years ago, for sure. When I was collecting, it was back when I was collecting like a lot of Psych, and I would find some pretty good stuff for $5 and $10. I probably missed all kinds of things because then. There's plenty of record dealers and collectors there, but the prices were down. There just wasn't as many, fervently looking for these for some of these things. But at that kind of fair, you're definitely getting the concentration of everyone who's serious about it.
Right.
So the prices were lower, I'm sure. I can't really recall specifically, but yeah, a lot of Denudes reissues. I know. I keep buying. $10 for this Os Mutantes. If anybody wants to take this puppy home, start the timer. All right. Third album. You know, this is one of the most, in terms of Brazilian music, the band that probably went the most far out there. And the first 4 albums, I think, are all worthy of getting.
I mean, that's one of those bands that, when other music was still around,
sure,
that like helped them pay rent. You know, a lot of those like reissues.
Yeah, absolutely. The other music was another frequent place for me. All right, we'll move on from that one. Let's try an ambient sort of new age record. Emmanuel, or was it Richard? JD Emmanuel.
That's a good record. That's a really good record.
Very nice.
Yeah.
One I do hope to replace. This is a reissue on the Aguirre label from 2017. This is a replication of the inner sleeve. Yeah, also a replication of the original label. North Star Productions. 1981. Yeah, this it's rainforest music. I mean, it's like it sounds. A gorgeous album, but I'll give you a quick idea if you don't know. Tropical birds recorded at Houston Zoo Tropical Bird Aviary, but composed, arranged, and performed by J.D. Emanuel in Houston. Instrumentation: a Krumar organ, 3 sequential circuit Pro 1 synthesizers, and a Yari acoustical guitar with special effects. So that should give you a pretty good idea of what you're getting into here. What's up, Jose? Yeah, Alex, do you have this one? I feel like you do. This music can be used for deep relaxation, meditation, and the background for massage and counseling. I don't know if I want to sell massage music, but
I will say anything that Aguirre does for me is like a no-brainer. They're one of those labels that you just buy whatever because they're great.
Yeah, and they jump all over the place, don't they, in terms of what they do?
Yeah.
I always get, Black Truffle and Black Sweat, I get confused for just the black. But I think of Aguirre in the same spirit in terms of anything they reissue. I always give a good look at. Aguirre, what have they done recently? I'm just curious.
I mean, it wasn't recent, but one of my favorite reissues from them is they did a Terry Riley record. I think it was like Surgery. Forget the full name of it, but
Persian Dervishes.
Yeah.
Which I sold. I had it. I'm going to replace that. Really? Well, you know what? There's not that many, Rich, so maybe it's an easy thing to just deny if you have to. So $10 for this rainforest music from the early 80s, J.D. Emanuel. Was it a tape too? Let's see. I don't think so. It was a record for sure.
Yeah, it was a record. I don't think it was a tape. I'd have to look it up, but
it's the kind of thing where, you see that a lot with this kind of music.
There was a cassette in 81
that came out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a different title. Oh, no, both. Weird.
Yeah, I think one is called Visions of Life, but it's the same, different cover,
strange.
too.
Yeah. A year later, he reissued it with the rainforest thing. Anyway, this reissue hasn't been repressed since 2017, but still very attainable. Probably a $25 reissue, so $10. I think it's gorgeous music. This is the kind of thing that I certainly there's a time in the day or a certain time of the week or whatever where I feel like this is the only thing I want to listen to. This type of thing, just to sort of decompress. 2 side long tracks. By the way, it's in the shrink. If that you can rip that right off, obviously once you get it, or I can rip it off right now. I'll if that helps you. If that helps you get a better idea of what we're dealing with here. $10. 30 seconds. So, you like this? What's your take on music of this ilk, Sean?
So for me, that it's like that record is for me like pretty meditative. Mm-hmm. Like you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's a time and place for a lot of that stuff, and usually for me, it's Friday evenings after I get off work, because that's when I do most of my record listening at this point. Now that I'm back in the office, it's tough to listen to records when I'm finished work, because I'm like, I just want to not do anything else.
I hear that.
But Friday nights, Saturday nights, that's usually when I listen to I used to have a thing years ago where I would just put on Lemy and Young records,
I like that
on Friday evenings.
Brain erase,
Yeah. Yep.
We'll take Antonio's bid for $10. Let's play a little bit of it too. Why not? All right, records all over the place. If anyone else wants to join, write me in the private chat. Any of you folks. Okay, we're playing a little bit of J.D. Emanuel. Antonio's record. Let me write that down. I suppose we'll do this for another hour. See where we get. I think there was another one, Antonio, I didn't write down. 1 second, sorry folks. I thought there was another one Antonio bid on. Am I wrong?
I've tried to keep track.
Yeah, okay. No, you got it. Yeah, he was outbid. All right, $10. So we haven't done much jazz. Let's do that. Let's try the reissue of Cosmic Music. If anyone doesn't have this,
that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. There's the reissue that's the ABC Impulse version, which you can get. It's the same record, right? As far as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was so. John Coltrane had a private label. I think that's the story, and that's the original.
The original cover and design.
Yeah.
This obviously the spiritual look is in full effect here. Shouldn't have to talk about this too much. This is
and it's a great sounding reissue. I have both kind of an original and that, and it's you
can't go wrong. Superior. It is a Superior Viaduct, right?
Yep.
There's that. $10. I don't know what's the story with it these days.
Yeah, I think
price wise.
I don't know what I'd have to look it up. But I will say that's a great sounding reissue. Viaduct does all their, I don't know if you've been collecting any of their reissues from the X, which is a super underrated band, but all those reissues sound great.
Do you have that X and the brass on the brass record?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
I saw the X actually at Touch and Go's 25th anniversary, whatever it was, 15 years ago at this point, and it was the X, and right after them was Uzeda, and that was one of the best back-to-back.
Oh yeah, we talked about Uzeda.
Yeah.
I love Uzeda. So I'm just wondering. I don't think this is in print anymore. This might have gone up in value.
Yeah, I'm checking on it now. I like this cover way better than the actual.
Than the ABC.
Impulse. Yeah.
Or it's just Impulse, I suppose.
I mean, it's a U.S. seller. Is the cheapest is $48.
You serious? Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm seeing here. So
okay. Well, let's say 15 on this, just to be somewhat not too crazy for me, because I think I could easily put this on Discogs and do okay. But I'm happy to let it go to you folks. As I said,
it's completely worth it.
15, we're saying on the Coltrane. Let's see what's going on with folks. Okay, Paul's got it for 15. Yeah. Tom Cora won a lot. Which one is this now? Tom Cora. We'll have to get back on that. Jose. Eggs are done. $16. So yeah, this is posthumous. Obviously, Alice put this out. Correct.
Yep. There was some controversy with it too. I think her doing it, but it did come out originally on the private label that he had. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex was talking. He had sold his original to Dave. Of course, picked that one up. Good pickup there. But yeah, Jimmy Garrison, Pharoah Sanders, Rashid Ali, Ray Appleton, and Ben Riley. That's who's on this record. The X, by the way, great band. I don't have the reissues. I have a couple of the originals of that era, but there's so many X records. My goodness, coffee is fucked. Sorry, Jose. $16 is the bid right now for this Cosmic.
We got
music.
20 by Antonio.
Antonio's all right. 30-second timer's up, or is going now. Sorry. So just do the math on that. I'm not going to do the shared screen with the 30-second countdown.
I will say with the X, the one issue or the one record I wish they would reissue was, I think it's one of the first records Albini did for them, which is Starters Alternators, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That's only been available on CD, and I know obviously Albini recorded it, so there is an analog tape of that record. So.
All right, Antonio's got it.
All right.
$20. Good deal. So we're listening to that Emmanuel record, by the way. Yeah, we can do some psych right now. Japanese jazz fusion I don't have. Actually, that's not true. Sorry, the wind is blowing into my mic here. I'm using my sensitive condenser mic today, so it's picking up all kinds of stuff. Anyway. I do have, I'll do some more jazz, but I do have this Teramasa Hino. I mean, how can I not?
That's a great record too. I have that. It's a great record.
I think this is still pretty cheap. You can get this for very little, but you mentioned Japanese fusion, so how can I not put this up right now? $10 for Hino. This is the, what label was doing these? The Love label. I don't know this label too well. Oh no, that's the original label, sorry. But anyway, this is good. I mean, I certainly like this record. I'm not selling anything I don't like or wouldn't endorse, by the way. The year on it, I don't know how many people know it. Teramasa Hino, the trumpeter, right? I don't have the year in front of me. You guys can find it, but this one's in a difficult shrink situation. I'll leave it for now. $10. You might want that, Jeff. You want me to take the shrink off? It is a gatefold, so that's one thing I hate, is gatefolds and shrink. It really bugs me. Teramasa Hino, Journey to Air is the name of this record from, I believe it's the early or late 70s.
It's the early 70s.
Oh, it's the early 70s. Okay, I'm way off. This is from the Octave Lab. Technically Record Store Day. Look at that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a whole series that they did for Record Store Day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not necessarily of him, but of kind of in that elk.
Right. $10. Jeff, you want it? Starting the timer on this. And then I'll do a little psych. There's plenty of psych in my selections. Teramasa Hino, Journey to Air from 1970.
Yeah, I think it was like I was looking to make sure, but yeah, Octave Lab, I think reissued it.
Right,
they're pretty good.
Jeff, can we get back to me on that? Psychedelic. Let's try this. This is a cool one. Don't think I'll be able to replace this. It's too rare. Dykeman James, Independent Study. This is a Private Press singer or duo, sort of guitar and folk duo, but sort of a loner and downer vibe to this one. I mean, you get a good idea. It looks like they obviously were recording in a decent studio. It appears that way. And this is a nice record. I really enjoy it. It's a Shaddix. Now, there's a label, that's an interesting label. New reissues always were like $40, and then a lot of them are tough to get now. Nice. I think that's a reproduction of the original label, of course. I think it's from 69.
68.
68.
But you're close. I mean, it's basically 69, yeah.
No Ween reissues. I'll show you my original Weens that I have. I'm not the biggest Ween fan, but I have 3 Ween records that I love, and I have those originals. I won't be selling them. Ween is, I'm a latecomer to Ween, really. I actually got into them like 5 years ago. That's a whole nother story. For real. Yeah, Independent Study from 68. I think it's out of Connecticut, I want to say. I don't know if any people know this record. Independent Study. All original songs, it looks like. I gotta look and see what this original looks like.
And I think that reissue is, it's from like 2010. So it's a...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the Shaddix label stuff is pretty old at this point. It's a German label. Private Press originally 68. Yeah, this is a pricey one. Folk Psych. But it's pretty mellow. I feel like this is sort of on the mellower side of things. It's not crazy. I think it's just sort of a nice, out there, like sort of cosmic, sort of pastoral sounds. So, yeah. Shit, let's start it at $10. Am I selling a Jazzmaster?
I think he's talking about the Jazzmaster behind me.
Oh, that is your Jazzmaster. Look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it until now. Is that the Fahey box next to it?
Yeah. And then for my Jazzmaster, I put a CCCC sticker. And so I would never sell it. My old band used that, so it's kind of we're not active anymore. But
you're not selling it. Just to be clear.
No.
It looks beautiful. I just got that.
It's a J Mascis. It's one of the Squires. I love his. It's weird. His original J Mascis Squire that was purple is now impossible to find, and that's actually super valuable. So it's like there's Squire guitar is pretty. It's like I think I saw one for like $1,000 once, and it's
Makes
a Squire.
sense to me. Just for the Squire, even.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But just because Mascis has his name on it, essentially.
Yeah, and that was the purple one. This is he did a second version. Yeah.
Psychedelic is in for $18. We'll start the timer now. Dykeman James Independent Study. I can't wait to find the original. No, I won't find it. This is one I probably should have listened to again. But again, I'm letting go of things that I know I love. It's okay. It's okay to let things go. Let it go. Alan's got to come up a little bit higher. We got 8 seconds on the bid for Dykeman James Independent Study. So far I have Alan up. Alan takes it.
Yep.
Alan for 22. Maybe we'll play. Well, it's been sold. I'm going to try to play something. Let's try to play something that hasn't been sold yet. I did that with Miss Emmanuel record. All right, goodbye. Clean that up later. All right, what else? What do you think, Sean?
What are you thinking? You're the one with the records over there.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Let's try another weird psychedelic one. A French with a French-Dutch record, Popera Cosmic. This is on the Finders Keepers label. You'll all know that.
Yep.
Let's see. This is one of these that is instrumental, kind of in the library, almost exotic, you might say. A sort of a studio creation. Not a band. This is a studio record. This is a band just sort of, going out there with arrangements and certainly a product of the times. What else can we say? So, Finders Keepers 2018. God, it feels like I just got this. Crazy. Popera Cosmic. I want to just get some players on this real quick if I can. Since Popera Cosmic Les Éclaves. UK. No. No, it is a straight French record. Sorry. There's no. I thought there was some Dutch connection. Guy Skornik. Francois Werthenheimer. Those are the names and the arrangers. Arranged by William Scheffler, actually, but written by those two, Werthenheimer and Skornik. Very rare, another rare original. It's acid rock, psychedelic rock, 69 on CBS label. So this is the first and one and only reissue of this. Of course, Finders Keepers, you'll know, does great stuff. So that's the deal on this. The reissue is certainly attainable. This is a pretty cheap one, so $10. Randy, basically, I always have preferred that. I'm just sort of narrowing the field and sort of not really buying new reissues anymore and purging a lot that I have. It's always what I know you get that. It's the most enjoyable aspect of collecting records to me is getting the original document. So from here on out, I don't see myself buying many reissues at all, unless there's a rare exception for some reason. But again, this is just my take on things, and everyone's entitled to their own damn way to collect it. I liked what, just while we're talking, the metal theologian Aaron did a thing once where he talked about, I have the greatest record collection in the world because it's my collection. If I didn't think my collection was the greatest, then what am I doing? So you're the master of your own domain, kind of thing, right? So I like that perspective. You know, you don't want someone else to have your best collection. You want yourself to feel the best about what you have. Anyway, that's what it's all about. So Popera Cosmic, $10. I believe this is all instrumental, very much like that orchestrated sort of, heavy production, but sort of really out there stuff. It lists it as experimental, at least that's what Finders Keeper says in their sort of description of it.
It's a cool cover too.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it, but it's a cool cover.
30 seconds, $10 for this one. Reproduction of the original European CBS label design. The original Tweety Brothers, that is a gettable original, I believe, Alan. We'll see. That wouldn't be on my first to buy. Like I have a bunch that I'm like prioritizing from what I'm selling to get, hopefully. There's like 5 titles I'm hoping to buy like right away. We'll see. We'll see about that. All right, so we're going to take a pass on this one. Let's do it. Looks like we have a little interest in the Psych thing. I'll keep going in that direction. I have some experimental stuff. Let's see. Oh, let's do this, because this one you can't sell on Discogs. You may know this one, Sam Gopal. This is Lemmy's very first band. Yep. UK band, of course. There's Mr. Lemy on the your far left there. And Sam Gopal's here. This one, certainly like a hard rock, hard psych record, but it definitely has a folky thing happening on some tracks from what I remember. This is Earmark, I think? Yeah, Earmark, Get Back. There's a Get Back and Earmark, used to see those all the time in the late 90s, early 2000s. I probably got this at Other Music, if I remember.
They did. I think Get Back was also doing a lot of like punk reissues in the late 90s. So a lot of those like street punk reissues actually sound really great from Get Back. I know they were kind of doing those actual reissues.
Oh, yeah, right, they did.
Yep.
Interesting, Randy. Let's talk. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not averse to selling original pressings I don't care for, or if I find that I have no interest in them, I'm not going to keep it around because it's valuable. I'd rather turn that into money that I can use for something else. So, some flexing going on here from Alex N. I like this original reproduction of. I guess this is what the inner sleeve was, just a straight black. I'm guessing.
This is pre-Hawkwind, I assume, right? I'm
yes.
not too familiar with it. Yeah.
Yes, it is. 68, I think. 69 on the Stable label, it says on the back. But this is unofficial, apparently, according to Discogs, so I couldn't list it there. Recorded 68, released 69. And Lemmy does have, I think he's credited on a couple of songs as being the songwriter. What's his original name again? Someone will correct me. Or will say here, I'm sure. Ian Lemmy Willis, vocal, lead, rhythm, guitar. Right, he's played guitar on this record.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really. I wonder what his setup was like.
Good question. I mean, I'm sure there's very little out there about this.
I mean, because we all know his the way his setup is with his Rickenbacker and that bass head that he uses. But does he play through a bass head or is it a guitar head?
That's a good question.
Yeah, anybody here who knows, I'd be curious.
So there's acoustic on this, I forgot. So it does definitely have a little bit of a different flavor too. And Sam Gopal's doing the tabla and percussion. That's another thing I forgot to mention. So it definitely gives it an interesting flair. I might have sold it wrong initially as a hard rock record because of Lemy. It's definitely, we'll say, more of a psych record. I'm going to start this at 15 because I know that I don't think you can get this. So let's start the bidding at 15 on that one. Anything I'm missing here? Jason? Yeah, that's an interesting thing too. I've thought about this too. You know, if all of a sudden no one cares, like if everything crashes for whatever reason, some people are deciding to say now is the time to sell everything, which I get, but I'm not doing that.
I think it also really depends on what you're collecting. You know what I mean? Like to me, I'm still, and I think it's going to happen fairly soon. We're starting to see American hardcore records finally I don't want to say become jazz records, but we're seeing people like basically be like, I have all the original Misfits 7-inches, which I know they've always been kind of pricey, but
Yes.
we're now like, people are talking about slabbing like American hardcore singles, which is wild.
Bonkers. It is wild.
Yeah.
Slabbing anything is wild. I mean, I can understand some sealed classic rock rarity, I suppose. Well, not to an extent I can understand it, but the idea of like a punk record, from what it was at the time, you know, from who's releasing and how it was made, the DIY aspect to it becoming this like uber collectible that we need to preserve.
And everybody knows this here, but it's like the reason why there were so few copies of those records was the limitations that either the label or the band themselves. It had nothing to do with we want to make this a collectible, obviously, or even like a limited record. I mean, you know, like the first Discord record, there was only like whatever, I think maybe 500 pressed.
And you get it too, like why there was like the different label combinations and different sleeve colors, and like why the records may not match the sleeve. It's just because like at the time, like, oh, we have 100 extra records. Let's just come up with these. Let's just take these other sleeves that we have that are like different color or whatever. Let's just get it out there. Like it was about economy and just making a thing available if you could. And so, like, it often became pretty confusing to look at and see, like, what were they doing? Well,
and it's funny. I'm watching. There's a good documentary on Detroit hardcore, and they're talking about like the first Negative Approach 7-inch, the first Necro 7-inch. You couldn't give those away at the time. You know what I mean? Now, like that Necro 7-inch is like one of the most valuable hardcore 7-inches of all time, outside of like Misfits or the first Minor Threat 7-inch.
So 30 seconds on Sam Gopal. Let's do it. Yeah. No, I won't be doing that. Interesting. I don't want to talk about that one anymore. You depressed me with that one. That's a all-time record for me. This one's about to end. We do have a high bidder of John for $15 on this one. Who wants to take it? John got it. Sold. All right, I'm going to put another one on. So, Sam Gopal's going to John. Let's pick something to play.
I would pick something that you're about to put up maybe in a couple of records, just to give a preview of what's maybe to come.
Wait, how do you mean? Say again?
So, like, whatever you're going to put up maybe in, like, 2 or 3 records, put that on now so you could maybe prime people for...
We can do that. Let's do... Here's a fun one. Attic Demonstration, Kenneth Higney. This is a classic.
Yeah, that's a good
Real
record.
People, home recorded. This is, like, maybe one of the records when you think of that kind of thing. He made a lot of these originals, so you can get... The originals are a little over $100. But I think this reissue is tough to get. Anyway, let's put this on. Kenneth Higney. All right, so we'll get to that one in a few. I'll do another one more Psych record for the Psych heads who are in attendance. This is a great Canadian Psych LP, A Passing Fancy, on the Lion Productions label, another label that's done a bunch of different things. 1968, one of many considered the best to come out of Canada. I wouldn't call this the best Canadian Psych LP, but it's up there. Tough, edgy rock, beat music influences, and some sunshine pop. Yeah, 1968, it's an edition of 500. The originals are on this, about $300-400, I think. Don't know if I'll be able to replace this one, but the Boo label this is a reproduction of the original label. Yeah, the Kenneth Higney, we'll talk about that in a minute, but anyway, A Passing Fancy, $10. Alan, you must have this. Cool label, cool sleeve. Insert, Lion Productions does some nice stuff.
What was the reissue label again?
Lion Productions.
Lion Productions.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this is the Canadian. I'm definitely, when it comes to Canadian records, the psychedelic records coming out at the time, were really certain quality to me, a real high quality. I really loved, for whatever reason, a lot of the stuff that came out of Canada in that time. There was just a certain offbeat, sort of like outsider sort of feeling to a lot of them for my money. And this was one of them. Although this one certainly is a little on the poppier side, I think. So Ryan S. is going to take a flyer for 10. This is a legit reissue. Let's just take a quick look at it. Passing Fancy. Yeah. Attainable. But no, this is the reissue will run you about $25. Actually, there's no copies available in the US right now. Yeah. Psychedelic, you don't have it. All right. 15 for this album.
What year was it reissued, John?
This reissue is pretty old, I think. Let's see. 2016. I'm just going to check and see. Sometimes there's like a bunch of different reissues for a given thing.
Yeah.
This has not been well, there's some Austrian pressing. Looks unofficial. Yeah, unofficial. So this is the only, according to Discogs again, this is the only official reissue of this. A Passing Fancy, Rich. A New Dawn. That's a good example of one, Alex. I still have the reissue here. I don't know if I'll ever be able to replace it, but I love that record. So I still have that reissue. Maybe I should sell it. No, for now, we may do another pass at this, because I have plenty of more reissues. I won't get ahead of myself. Passing Fancy. Right now, Ryan S. has got the high bid. I'm going to start the timer at 30 seconds. We're starting to get some momentum now. Yeah, New Dawn is Pacific Northwest, I believe, Portland area. But this is Canadian. I don't know which and where. It's not mentioned here. I'm sure the liner notes will tell you. But $20 is the high bid right now for Passing Fancy. Yeah, I think anyone who likes Psych, this is a no-brainer. Psychedelic for 22. And sold to Psychedelic. Oh, I gotta write it in. Sorry. I'm saying it, even though that's the. Oh my god. Thank you, Derek. 22. Okay. Great. Let's do a great Psych folk record, one I don't want to sell, because I know I paid I think $40. I might have even had to get this from the UK. I think I paid around 40, maybe 45 for this. I love this. Synesthesia. That's where you see colors, right? Or no, you hear colors. The idea of hearing colors, synesthesia. On the Sunbeam label. Sunbeam. great. They've done a lot of great stuff over the years. I don't know if they're still really doing anything. I don't think. Sometimes you see repressings. This is a pretty rare UK folk group, psychedelic folk. I love the UK folk stuff for sure. So yeah, it took me a minute to get this, but I think this one is relatively still hard to get and not really available here. I'm talking about the reissue, that is. Sunbeam. On the Sunbeam label, yeah.
Yeah.
Low price on this in the US is pretty high. Yeah, there's no US copies. There's a Canadian copy for 50. So I'm going to start this at 20. But someone has an opportunity to get it for it's a really good deal compared to what it's doing. I know I said most things would be 10, but a few exceptions. The original is from 69 on the RCA Victor label, UK only. And the originals are, yeah, you're talking $500-600 on this. I probably won't be able to replace it. So, Jonas. Jonas has got the original. Okay, we got a bid from Randy. $20 is the going bid right now.
It's not bad.
No. Yeah, if you like trees, I'm a huge fan of trees. That's one. Those are ones I'm trying to track down. But 2 albums on, I believe they were on CBS in the UK as well. So this is a little. Trees is a little more on the Fairport Convention mold. You might say this is a little more on the folkier side, like less folk rock, more folk, but acid folk for sure.
We got 21 from Chris.
Yep. Yes, I am. I love that album. Another one I'd love to track down, and the reissue I still have here. There's, like I said, there's lots of reissues I've kept aside for now because I love them to that level where I don't want to sell them at this point. Not yet. So, like I said, there's not a pure. I'm not completely pure. I'm getting there. Chris, Vinyl Piper is in for 23 right now. Got some clattering going on. The family's back. Synesthesia, 68. What did I say? Right, 68 originally. 69. Sorry.
69. Yeah.
This Sunbeam reissue from 2006 has not been repressed at all, so a tough reissue to get. This is a tough one to get. 23 is the bid. I got the 30-second timer starting now. 30 seconds. Synesthesia. There's no insert on this. I don't believe it came with one. It could have. It's so that if it did, that's missing. But again, everything's in nice shape. I did buy this secondhand used copy. It was reissued last year. Okay, I didn't see that, but still, this is the original reissue. if that helps.
Dom, so I'm gonna put you on the spot here. What is, off the top of your head, what is one of your favorite reissues?
Hold on, let me just verify.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yep.
We'll take that one. Just favorite reissues of anything?
Yeah, just off the top of your head, if you had to name one that you could think of where you're like, they nailed that.
So sorry, hold on. This does, sorry, Alan, this did go to Chris. I didn't get to type sold quick enough, but it did go to Vinyl Piper. With my timer going on, I just didn't type it quick enough. Sorry about that. 23. That's a great question. On the spots are always tough for me. Well, there's definitely, I can definitely look at the section where they would be, because I can like visualize like what it is I'm looking at. I don't know. I mean, this is sort of obvious, but the Pharaoh reissue was amazing last year. I don't see myself finding the original of that one. I'm very hesitant to buy box sets these days. Just box sets are hard, but there's a few that I will do. Yeah, I think this is a favorite reissue. I'm just gonna say because it is, because of the way they did it. I love the way they did it because they reproduce all of the ephemera. That's a lot of the times a favorite.
Yeah.
They reproduce ephemera that, how would you ever get that? You know, getting that stuff in original form would be so hard. Now let's merge it. Let's talk about it. I haven't done any New Zealand records yet. This is the first LP album
wow.
proper by Tall
Yeah.
Dwarfs, Weevil.
Yeah.
This is a gettable original, but this, again, if you know about the Tall Dwarfs, the artwork and the sort of like comic books and the different inserts that they would do, all from Chris Knox, are always super cool. So this one reproduces the original booklet, which is quite thick, actually. I love his art. Weevil, I'm almost positive it's their first proper LP, but like with all of the Flying Nun in the 80s, they were all doing EPs and 7 inches. And but as far as from an LP, this is the first one from 1990. If you don't know Tall Dwarfs, Chris Knox, Alex Bathgate, originally Toy Love, The Enemy, and of course there's Chris Knox solo albums. This is 2014 reissue. Yeah, right. The Captured Track label. That's right.
Yeah.
The Captured Tracks was doing like a Flying Nun. I think they still technically are.
Yeah, they kind of are. They did like a series way back in 2014, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's supposed
that
to be
guy
like
Mike Sniper that runs Captured Tracks. He loves Flying Nun. We all do. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
That's a big label I collect. You know, when possible. A lot of times you have to import them, but yeah. So Jonas brings up a great point. I do love Elephant Six, and it's certainly lo-fi. Like that's one of the things Knox and the Tall Dwarfs are known for, is sort of like the early purveyors of like a lo-fi aesthetic or a lo-fi recording technique. 1990 DIY masterpiece, and it is psychedelic too. There's sort of they're kind of what they do and like with the production vocal, what they'll put on their vocals, a lot of twisted sounds. It's certainly a lo-fi psychedelic.
And there's only 2 copies of that on Discogs from the U.S. So it's...
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing here before we get to this. Yeah, that could have been bullshit. I know. Sometimes the Discogs statistics can be skewed because of that. But very rare. That's the F.J. McMahon album. I could show it, but I'm not selling it right now. It's an ex-military, came home from the U.S. and recorded this like really beautiful down and out folk record. It's great. Anyway, but we're talking Tall Dwarfs. We'll start the bidding at $10. Hold on a second here. Jose, Vic Chestnut would not be considered Elephant Six. Oh, okay, he did one with Elf Power. All right, I wouldn't agree with that. All right, what else is happening? Warp, yes, that's true. Warp does do some really great repressings, reissues. Did I miss any comments? I don't think so. Anyway, so this is on the docket. $10. The originals go for near $100 on this. So I hope to be able to get that. Will it have that booklet? This is one of those things. I do love when these kinds of things are reproduced in this way. Merge Records reproduced the first clean 12 inches, and they did a great job on those. Same thing, reproduced the original comic. All right, $10.
Got a bid already.
Yep, Paul. This is a bigger debate we'll have to have. I'm pretty up to my Elephant Six stuff, Jose. I don't know about that, but okay, we'll leave it alone. Oh yeah, the selected ambient works. Yep. 30 seconds. Starting now for Tall Dwarves. Some of you folks out there like Chris, Vinyl Piper, or Psychedelic, I really think you'd like the Tall Dwarves when it comes to sort of like you psych heads. I think that's certainly where they're coming from. There's some great songs on this too. That's another thing I didn't mention. Like, really, we're good at writing hooks, like some catchy stuff too. So $10 right now to Paul. Paul's got it. Sold to Breakfast King, Paul. All right, for 10. Sorry, John, you missed it. What's going on here? Let's see. Yes, did I see Dave is here? Nice, yeah. I'm working on that. Saving up. So let's talk about the record we're playing. We've been playing Attic Demonstration, 1974. Pretty, I mean, this is a prime Acid Archives release, and also one of the ones when I first was becoming aware of, like, not just like home recording and private press, but like people that are like untrained, like real people music, they call it, like the Paul Majors psychedelic experience. You know, Paul Majors, of course, is one of the greatest collectors of this type of thing. This is one of the first records I sort of was drawn to from that, and one of the ones that I feel like is held in that, like one of the 10 examples of that in a sense. He made a fair amount of these, so the originals are gettable, as I was saying earlier, but it's from 1976. There's a one-kind favor reissue, often considered the holy grail of real people records, as I said. Acoustic guitar ballads and nearly atonal desolation. Nice, good hype sticker fodder there. Let's see, we do have... It's so hot here, like plastic sleeves are sticking to me. Gross. Oh wow, we have bonus 7-inch. Forgot about that. And yeah, a little insert. But I do believe this reissue is no longer available.
Yeah, I don't think it's in print.
Let's take
it's
a
like
quick
2012, look. Right? When it got reissued, I think.
I think so. They probably made a good deal. I'm not totally sure. Yeah. That's the first reissue of it, believe it or not. Okay. It's the low price in the U.S. is $40, so I'll start at 10. I'm gonna start at 10. $10 for Kenneth Higney. We just been playing it. We played the first side, 1975. Kenneth Higney, Attic Demonstration. I love the cover. You know, check him out. He's looking pretty awesome, I think. The 7-inch is probably, bonus stuff. The hype sticker doesn't say what the 7-inch is, but I'm assuming it's 2 bonus tracks. They wouldn't have put that out at the time. $10.
Got a bid.
Lego. Kenneth Higney. So far we got a bid. I'll start this timer in a second, but yeah. If you heard what I was playing, I don't know how well it was coming through, but that's a pretty good indication of what you're going to get. So 30 seconds. Jose, where are you? You'd love this one, man. But you heard it.
Got it. Yep.
We're going up a bit here. Lego's still the high bid. Yeah, you know, with things like this, maybe it'll get repressed at some point. I don't know. This reissue is 12 years old now, which, again, I can't even believe that. It feels like I just got it in a way. So here we are. Lego's got it for 15 so far.
Jose with sniping it.
Oh my God. Jose.
Oh man.
I'm gonna collect that 75 cents. Even.
Yeah.
I don't even want 16. I want 15.75. I want to see you. Yeah, whatever. All right. No, it's yours, Jose. Sure. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm sort of running out of time on my end. Another 15 minutes. I'm certainly not getting through everything, so you know. Sold to Jose for $15.75. He sniped you, Lego. I'm sorry to say. We're gonna honor it, but no, I'll sort of update via YouTube or whatever, you know, in the same places I announce things. What's happening with these, where they're going, if anyone cares, if anyone's interested. Let's do a twofer. This is a great twofer. I'm pretty sure, Sean, you'll be a fan. Swell Maps.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It's
So we're going to do them both. Now, these are pretty cheap reissues. I don't know how long. It's been years since they've been in print for a long time. And the UK originals are gettable, so I'm going to work on that. But this is like, incredibly formative music for me. I mean, I got into these a long time ago. They still sound fresh to me. They still sound interesting. If you like This Heat, this is certainly more of like a punk thing, where This Heat was certainly doing their own thing, but it's got that sort of like loose and sort of experimental edge. Now, these are a label not really associated with reissues. It's Secretly Canadian Proper, who doesn't do many. These days, they're kind of like putting out all kinds of different pop records, all kinds of things. A label that was really known for Jason Molina and Songs of Haya from the get-go. But they did nice reproductions of these with Trip to Marineville with the inner sleeve, and the originals came with a 7-inch too, so they reproduced the 7-inch. And Jane from Occupied Europe. This is the second album. And they have 2 proper records with... I have something else that has like extra stuff on it, but there's 2 proper albums. Original inner sleeve. So I'm gonna sell them as a pair. Oh, Jane. Oh, yeah. Sorry, this won't work out for you then, Jeff. I'm gonna sell them as a pair for 20. If no one takes them for 20, Jeff, and you want Jane, we can talk. So here we go, $20. 2 swell maps reissues. These go back to God, I don't know, but they've been in print. I don't think anything has changed about what these are. I'm pretty sure they're still in print. That is.
I think Paul has got a bid.
Nice. Let me not get these 2 mixed up. Yeah, like it's no. I know you're not a Pavement fan. We've talked about that, but this is like a prime influence for Malcolmus and the Pavement sound. I think it's well documented.
I'm curious. You mentioned This Heat. What is your favorite This Heat record?
See, this is one of those circumstances where I think I would say the first self-titled, but Deceit in a way is a better record in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it's more cohesive.
The first half of self-titled, I mean, it's a great record through and through. But that first half is unbelievable. I think Deceit, you're right, is if I had
more immediate.
Yeah.
I think you need them both. And then that's one I have original the first. I have a reissue of the second, which I probably should be selling that, but it's not here. So Tony Norman in Australia, $22 right now. Let's start the timer for the Swell Maps twofer. I'm the opposite. I think their albums are the best part about them, but that's just me.
And I'm the weirdo that only likes the last record that nobody likes of Pavement. I love Terror Twilight. I think that's a great record.
I love it too. I love them all. I love every single aspect of them. I'm a big fanboy of them. Anyway, $22 right now is the high bid. All right, that's sold. I think that makes sense. I know Tony is in Australia. If it's the same Tony, I think, and so probably not as easy to get there. So the reissues, that is. All right, let's play another record, and then we'll start to close it out here. Oh, I got a lot of cleanup to do. I love Built to Spill, but I don't agree.
Built to Spill did the best Cortez the Killer cover I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
I've seen them a whole lot.
Yeah.
Never saw Pavement in my day. I saw Stephen Malcolmus a ton. That was one I missed. I had a chance to see him on the Terror Twilight tour. I spent the summer in London, and it was weird. Like they came to London after I left, and they were in the U.S. when I was in London. It was like a switcheroo. So if I was in the U.S. where I should have been, I would have saw them. And then they came to the U.K. after I left. So I just totally missed that tour, and then that was that.
A buddy of mine follows Pavement around. I think he ran like the first Pavement fan site back in like the 90s. But he was saying that Terror Twilight is almost like a solo Stephen Malcolmus record.
It kind of is, yeah. Some of the songs they were working on for Terror Twilight ended up on the first Malcolmus solo record. So it kind of is, yeah. Very true. I know. I'm hardcore in that age range, Alex. Awesome. Here we go. Some real hate for, or maybe just some love for Bay City Rollers more than hate for Pavement.
I would argue that Polvo is still super underrated. I don't think they get the credit Polvo that they deserve.
I can show my Polvo records, but that's another stream. I'm a huge fan of the first early era of Modest Mouse, like in a very big way, and then I definitely fall off the map with them. All right, we're getting into some discussion. But let's do a few. I didn't touch on jazz too much. Let's blow through a few. I don't know if I have jazz buyers in the audience, but we'll try. Let's play. Let's do some opposites, and then we'll end. I'm gonna play this. This is a Brazilian.
That's a great record. It's a great record.
I'm hesitant to sell this. Here again, you mentioned what reissues you do are done well, or that you like, or that you. Yeah. I have a hard time getting rid of this, even though it's not.
Bloom did that, right? That's a Bloom reissue. Yeah.
All the Bloom records have this look, different colors, of course, but the original looks different. But for some reason, I love the stark, sort of simple packaging of this.
I do too. Yeah.
And won't be an easy one to replace when it comes to the original early '80s pressing. But
they're great pressings. Like they,
Yeah, they did this on
super good
on a red.
Yep.
So let me put this on real quick. Bear with me. Everything's fine, I promise. This may not be the best to play in this atmosphere, but let's just do it.
They did a Bruce Nauman reissue called Soundtrack from First Violin Film. Unbelievable record. That's a fairly well. I will say the thing with Bloom is they go really quickly, so
they do.
They're attainable, but the reissues are getting really expensive for Bloom because they just go immediately out of print.
Yeah, local composer here, a friend of mine, Sarah Hennies, had a record on Bloom, which was amazing.
I know what record you're talking about. Yeah,
it's a great record. That's like an olive color.
Yep.
So, yeah, she's more people are going to be hearing about her, I think, in the years to come. Volvo does rule. All right, let's get into. There's much discussion happening, but I'm going to just go through. Quickly, 3 jazz records, and then we'll hopefully sell this Yosido Oliveira record. But this is a Mingus double on. This is a Get On Down double reissue. What did they add? They added outtakes to this, I'm sure. Alternates. What else could it be? Alternate takes. This is a obviously pretty well-known and well-loved Mingus record, but it's session recordings that are added. Mingus, John Handy, Booker Irvin, Shafi Hadi, Jimmy Nepper, Horace Parlan, Danny Richmond, Charlie Mingus. Let's start this at $10. I'm sure it sold for more. It started for more. The chaos is now creeping in. Let's see. Let's start it at 10, and we'll talk about what everybody's commenting on here.
So Dom, I have a question for you to chew on. Is there any originals where you were like, it's in good shape, but I'd rather have the reissue?
At times, that does happen. What you mean, like originals that I have that are like in off shape?
No, just like if it's like, it's nice to have that original. It's in good shape. I could get it, but the repress or the reissue actually sounds better and is actually a better package.
Off the top of my head, yeah, definitely get me on the spot for sure. I'll have to get back to you on that. Let's talk. Let's by the end of it, we'll figure it out. As I'm sort of being distracted by other influences. But we have the Mingus.
You got a bid
record up. And we'll do the counter. Just want to see what else. Yeah. Let's see. Jose causing trouble. No, those are, you don't ever see those. Have you really? Interesting. I'd like to hear about that. Those early Beck tapes that's unobtainium. But anyway, double LP of Mingus Ahom. 30-second countdown. You think? I have the original Wilson McKinley, actually, Paul. I'll have to find it. It's right over here, but I'm getting sidetracked. Tony, 13. Yeah, I guess I'm admitting and understanding that sometimes the issues are going to sound better. It's just, I don't know, makes me a little more of a thrill to find those originals. You know, you get it. So I think it's going to be Tony here, unless someone chimes in. Sold. What you're hearing in the background is the Brazilian composer, experimental José de Oliveira, but you're also hearing my kids, so it may all sort of work.
It's funny, her as a composer, her first record is actually I don't want to say straightforward, but it's almost like this
a different thing,
kind of Brazil, like almost like pop record.
Yeah, I've not heard it. I mean, it's
very good, very good. I mean,
it's
yeah, and it's cool. I did a listen back between that record and this record, and it's just so night and day, obviously, but it's just funny how different they kind of are.
Tony, I think I missed one. Wow, we had two different Tonys. Tony Norman is the winner for 13. Let me just make sure I'm keeping track. Tony had the Swell Maps. That's it. The Swell Maps duo pair. All right, another Mingus. This is a really here's a great sounding reissue. East Coasting. This is the Pure Pleasure edition. Analog audiophile remaster. You know, so you're seeing. I dipped my toe a little bit into this, like sort of buying, you know, the analog or the audiophile type pressings that have really become, you know, so ubiquitous over the last 5 years or last 3 to 5 years. So some of them I sort of went for. I think I don't know. They always sounded good to me, but something about there was just too many. I had a hard time sort of like finding what I really liked in that realm, and ultimately it just felt easier to not sort of go that route. But yeah, I definitely dipped my toe in it a little bit. So this is one of them. I think this is out of print. I am gonna double check. What do you think, Sean? I mean, have you sort of, again, is it just a case by case basis for you?
It is. But so here's my philosophy on a lot of that stuff. I understand and don't look down on people that want to buy pure analog pressings or the best you could possibly get. But for me, I'd much rather take that extra, maybe let's just say $100, and buy artists and bands that I've never heard of. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have a good pressing and then invest the rest of what would have been that money into just other stuff, new stuff. Well, I love discovering new sounds. Like I'm not a collector of just like old musicians. I love new sounds.
I mean, it's both for me. I love going backwards, obviously, and finding out those weird records I know about. But yeah, when it comes down to like buying a repress of something I know versus like discovering something I don't know and hopefully be, you know, blown away by something new and a new rabbit hole, a new path, obviously that interests me the most. Here's another interest in that Jazz Master you got there.
Oh, let's see what yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It's the second edition. There was a purple one in like the mid 2000s that we were talking about earlier. It goes for a lot of money. I think this one sounds better, but Kevin Shields plays the purple one on stage. It's kind of funny.
So $10. It's a good deal for this.
Yeah, it is.
Low price is $32 on Discogs. Hello.
I'm not a big Mingus guy, but that record is a good record.
Early one. This is early for sure. You can tell by his look here. You know, Mingus always used interesting person. He was always changing his group in my mind. Like it was always featuring new people. Bill Evans is on here. This is August 57. Jimmy Nepper, Shafi Hadi again, Clarence Shaw, Danny Richmond, and Bill Evans. So, $10 for this. Let me time it. We're going to do one more jazz record, and then we'll finish out on the Yosei East Coasting by Charlie Mingus. We don't have any bids on this yet. Yeah, that's also true. I do enjoy comparison listening. I like, especially if there's like an honest difference to find, especially if there's different mixes. That can be cool, you know.
Yeah, mixes I think is, I don't know if they're saying like, comparatively to pressing.
Paul's got it. Yeah.
But different mixes 100%. Like I will A/B different mixes for sure.
So Mingus East, it's to Paul. Yeah, I remember doing a comparison of the Slider T-Rex UK versus a US pressing, and it was almost jaw-dropping how different the mixes sounded in a cool way. One was not better than the other. It was just there was differences to be heard, the way certain things were in front, certain things were behind. Vocal treatments, things like that were such a stark difference. It was like really fascinating in a way. So Paul, Breakfast King. All right, one more jazz record. I like this record. I don't love it though. Page 1, Joe Henderson. I mean, obviously this is a well-loved record. I bought a few classic reissues, as you can see. Sure, yeah, okay, fair. That's to be fair, Alex. Yeah. Anyway, so everyone's well acquainted with this. We all know what these classic pressings or the prices on them. We'll start at $10. Remastered by Kevin Gray, all that stuff. What is this? 66. You have Kenny Dorham, McCoy Tyner, Pete LaRocca, and Butch Warren. $10. Yeah, I do. I enjoy comparison listening, but that said, I have such little time for anything. So it does ultimately come down to me just like trying to sit down and enjoy listening to a record when it comes down to it. Kikagaku Moyu, no, but I've definitely listened to. That's probably a band I should probably give a little more attention. I've listened to a few of their records, but I think they've come out with like 30 or something, right?
I don't even think they're a band anymore, right? They kind of broke up.
Oh, did they?
I think so, and because they did like a final tour in the U.S., but maybe they got back together. But I remember I think they broke up.
So far, Paul has the first bit of $10 for this. So, Antonio, we're playing Jose de Oliveira, if I have that right, which I'm going to put up for auction in a second. But right now, we're auctioning Joe Henderson's Page 1 classic repressing. $12. John the Revelator. Or John Other Revelator. Yeah, maybe. We've done well with the Psych stuff. Maybe we could do a few more. I'm running out of time here on my end. Maybe for you, Rich, I'll do it. But let's just finish up with this. 30 seconds left. Now, on Page 1, Joe Henderson. Again, shape. I'm not even mentioning condition or anything because they're all pretty new, and I haven't I haven't trashed these things. Let's just put it that way. They're all in as new shape. I mean, I confuse Jose and Mazzy all the time. Totally. All right, I think the winner is gonna be John Other Revelator. Sold. I should really. Okay. Thanks for helping out on this, Sean.
Yeah, of course.
Page 4, $12. Still a good deal. All right. So I've been talking about it.
This is my biggest endorsement, I think, of everything that you've shown so far, and it's all been some really good stuff.
I don't want to sell it. Hold on, let me get the sleeve. Go ahead and talk.
But I would say that to anybody that doesn't know who she is, and you're listening to this for the first time, this is one of my favorite Bloom reissues. If I had to pick, a top 3 Bloom reissue, this would probably be number 2.
Number 2, you have a number 1?
So it was that Violins record that I was telling you about. That Bruce Nauman record.
Oh, okay.
That record's really, really good. I mean, the Julius Eastman record that they did. That is those are my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think, you know, but this record is like slotted in number 2 or 3. But
The
this
one
is
yeah.
Yeah.
The one I should have probably taken is the Valentini Magaletti did one
Yeah,
a
that's
couple
a good
years
one.
ago.
Yeah.
I probably should have taken that, and I didn't. But all right, so hey, Nathaniel. All right, we got a lot of Ween talk in the chat today. So, yeah, Sean's been talking it up. The Bloom label, yeah, they really simple, minimal design, but you know, here's the original cover, by the way. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's from 1981, I believe. I know I read all of this at one point because I was just so fascinated by this album. I don't know how many know it. I know you do, obviously. Alex, I know, was a fan of this. But there's a long story here. But essentially, it's an experimental record, electroacoustic vocal experiments. That's essentially what the title is: acoustic and electronic instruments, esoterias for voice. It's just one of these immersive, fascinating experimental records, and you know, it's got a certain sort of peace, or calmness to it at times, but then it goes into some obviously strange territories as well. She's the pianist and the writer. You have a bunch of collaborators on here with her. I could read this whole thing, but I won't right now.
I will say it's a very like quiet pressing, and in a good way. You know what I mean? Like there's no, it's a very good pressing.
Red vinyl, not ruined. Bloom, 2017. This is Brazilian. We mentioned it earlier. I don't know if we mentioned it now, but let me just double check. I think this is around. I don't think the reissue is too tough to get.
No, but there's only about 3 sellers in the U.S. that have it, and it starts at like 30 and then pretty much jumps to like $75.
Okay.
In the U.S. for U.S. sellers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall there being any issue with this. I haven't played it too recently, but I mean, we've been listening to it now for the most of the sides, so yeah, it should be clean. I will say it is. Let's start it at 15. I know I said most of you 10, few will be more. $15. I kind of don't want to see this one go, but I'm willing to let it go. Sometimes you let things go. Yeah.
Who is this Mazzy guy?
Mazzy?
Is that the vinyl community dude?
Yes.
Okay.
You really don't know this Mazzy?
I mean, I don't know the
Mr.
names
Mazzy.
of these people. Like I've texted, you know, with Christian before, and he's like, "Yeah, Mazzy," and so on. I'm like, "Who are these?" I know the Rachel person, but I don't know.
Mazzy is he's one of the biggest VC makers, a big Beatles guy, but also into a lot of different kinds of music.
Is he the dude that wears the baseball cap?
He wears a fedora a lot of the time.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I know who that dude
He gets a lot of love and hate, but I like Mazzy. I enjoyed hanging out with Mazzy in New York when we hung out. Right now we have Andora's Revenge. Mark has got the high bid. I'm going to start the timer. 30 seconds. Hey, Marius. Here's Christian. Coming in at the end here. Yeah, we're auctioning off Jose de Oliveira. Jose de Oliveira. Okay, 5 seconds left. That's it. Sold to Andora's Revenge. Mark. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, by the way. All right. Let's do a few bonus, and then we'll get out of here. I'm going to do it for Rich. He wanted to do some psych. I'll do it. Oh, a lot of cleanup. All right. I'll do, let's see. Let's do a 2 for these. These are pretty cheap. I've been getting rid of a lot of Superior Viaduct. The 2 Pip Proud records. These are a good example of incredibly rare Australian psych folk records that actually maybe these are now a little bit up in price. I think at one point you can get these for like less than $10. Maybe they still are. I don't remember. I did price these recently, but how can I remember what the heck I did? They were in the grid. If you looked at my video that I put out there, all these records were in there. So you're just getting them at a better price right now. Yeah, these are cheap. We'll do the pair for 20. Pip Proud 20 for the pair. Yeah, so I'm scrolling it across the bottom here, Marius. Yep, $4 for any amount of records. Ship PayPal to that address. It was a good buy. Mazzy Weens hate. In some ways, he does, doesn't he? So, if you don't know Pip Proud, you might say this is like kind of what always gets thrown around. The Australian Syd Barrett. Here they say recommended for fans of Alvarius B, Donovan, and Jandek. Have you heard this dude?
Interesting. The last one is like...
I don't know how you compare anyone to Jandek. Honestly, he's in his own universe.
You know what my favorite Jandek is Jandek Funk. Have you ever watched the live Jandek Funk set?
No clue.
It's hilarious. He just showed up at this like funk house. They were doing like brunch and just starts playing with the session band. And he's like playing funk music.
No,
it's awesome.
Oh my God. I'm not.
You gotta YouTube that when you get
All
off here. When you get a chance, just YouTube Jandek Funk. It's great.
Sounds like must-watch TV. Pip Proud. Yeah, there's inserts on these. Anyway, Adrenaline Richard and Bird in the Engine. I think Adrenaline Richard is first. These are exceptionally rare records, so these will never get. I'll never get these. That's okay. Maybe I should keep. This is the kind of thing I probably should just keep. I really like. I don't love. Really, I really like. I don't listen to them that often though, so maybe that's something for me to think about. But we'll say 20 for the pair if anyone wants these. Did we get any bids yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes. You got it. Marius. Peoples, huh? Keep it. It's okay. I need to make room. That's the other part of this. So $20.
We got a bid by John.
John's in. All right. The timer's on. Okay. 20. I might regret it. That's the thing. I'm okay if I might regret some. I'm just looking at it like I'm using this for the greater good. $20 is the high bid for that right now. For a pair of Pip Proud records. Sold to John Gallen. Okay. All right. Well, I've said I'm going to end. I'm going to do one last. Let's see. Yeah, one last record. One more. A garage Chilean band. This is awesome. Seriously, I love this record coming up. Los Max. The Max. A monster reissue of this one. This is pretty recent. 2021. This is straight up great Chilean garage. But this, like some of that stuff, depending on the year, it can be more straight kind of like covers, like they'll do like different Beatles covers or Stones covers or something. But then like a year or two later, they start getting into more wild stuff. And I think this is one where they do that. Second album by Chilean Beat Pioneers, recorded in '67. So this actually, I'll go back on what I said. This is going to be more of the British Invasion covers, sorry. This is more of the cover kind of thing. But super great. I mean, I love it. Look at the cover here. So, where am I gonna, yeah, let's start this one at 10. The Lost Max while the Peanut Gallery gets rowdy. GG Session by Lost Max. For Vinyl Richie. Come on, Rich. You'd love this one. Munster Records, originally from '67. I'm assuming this is a reproduction of the RCA Victor labels. We got a bid. Chris is gonna go $11. Beat out Rich. I'm gonna put the timer on, and I am gonna wrap it up after this. Gone a little bit longer. I'd love to talk longer, but you know, I do these streams whenever I can do them, so I can't. It's hard for me to come to a consistent schedule, and when I have a window of time, I do it. I'd like to join some of the streams when I can. There's been some great ones happening, really enjoyable. Where are we at? Rich, $12. Shenanigans. Here we go. We're gonna hand this one over to Rich.
There we go.
Rich has got it for 12. Sold. All right. Let me write that down. 12. All right. That's going to do it. There's more, and they'll be probably on my Discogs page later this week, which I will link to in the comment of this. Or I've linked to it before, but I'll link to it in the comments for this. So, thank you, Chuck. I'm not that good at these auctions, I don't think. I really appreciate your help, Sean.
Anytime.
Keeping track. You know,
Yep.
Rob, I know that the Wax has gotten really good at doing them. I think if you just do them more. I like really talking about the records and music more, so it's sort of like to do both is kind of hard, but I think we sort of bobbed
We
and
kind
weaved.
of had a
Yeah.
good vibe going.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it was really a lot of fair prices for everybody who's bid and won these things. So thank you. You certainly did not do bad at all, and I'm totally fine with the pricings on them. So just to be able to send them to people I know and not have to worry about fees and things is nice. So you can see if you bought anything. I'll put this information in the description. But hopefully you've been taking track. You can just send the PayPal with $4 extra to this PayPal right there. Reach out to me any other way if you want. Maybe you're watching this after and there's something that didn't sell. I'm happy to sort of work that out at that point. So yeah, drop me a line. Enjoy your Sunday. Go check out. I know Romuald is doing his stream at 1 o'clock, so check in with him. French Vinyl Addict, good channel. And thanks everybody. Yeah, so I have lots of needs. Thank you, Mark. Sean's a great co-host. I recommend Sean as a co-host if he wants to.
Yeah, and if you're doing it again, Dom, let me know and I'll jump on and help you out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody. I'm gonna say goodbye, Sean. I owe you a text.
Yep. We'll talk.
I didn't miss that. I want you to know I didn't miss that. It's been a crazy.
Yeah,
week,
no worries.
All right, man.
All right,
Thanks,
everybody. Take care. Have a good day.
See ya.
Yep. See you. Bye.